you're working yet? I don't know. You
All
got
right.
it. Is you stable
So,
yet?
greetings and
No, I
hotep.
guess it ain't working because you only
I
hexing and
had,
cursing yourself.
oh shit,
It's working on you.
clocked into Terrell University, and I'm doing my homework. I'm doing my research. I wanted to do a topics trending in Terrell, but I didn't make a note Monday night. Was it Monday night? Let me see. Today is Thursday. Whoa. So Wednesday, Amazing Love fed us. So that was Tuesday night. So Tuesday night, we went to downtown and we had a homework activity for Abby, which is to find out how much the Florida Hotel makes per year. We went in there and I wanted to show her how beautiful the place was. And I walked up to the counter and said, "How much does it cost to stay here tonight?" He said, "The best I can do for you is $285 a night." Now, this is about 10 p.m. because I thought we had food, but the Indian people that make those wonderful vegetarian dishes with chickpeas and rice and lentils and vinegar, vinaigrette, sauteed purple cabbage. They just do such a wonderful job. They didn't come. So I had my palate all set for the coconut milk and the curry. They use wonderful ingredients and they didn't come. So it was like, okay, well, God is going to feed us anyway. So let's go out into the world. Now, we went out into the world late. And I didn't know which direction to go. Now, for years, about a decade, I've been like, Lord, I want to know how that bird knows to come here when I throw that bread down. So we have been working on me becoming a very keen person that will be able to hear the Creator and go where He says go. And when I say He, I mean He and she, because babies are women. Everybody in the earth that's a human was a girl before they became a guy. And you can Google that. All embryos are girls first, and then if the other, let me see, the XXXY, if the Y drops down, then they become a boy. I think that's how that works. It's been a long time. So, back to the story. Oh, excuse me. Oh, excuse me. God bless me. So I was planning to go to, because I had like $3 in my pocket, and I haven't checked the food stamp card again. Something happened, and I just haven't really been willing to go down there and have it with those people. They give me such a hard time. So I filed complaints against that office, and I'm waiting to hear back from the Inspector General's office in Tallahassee, Winewood. I'm not going to even go into that again. I covered that on a couple of videos. So I said, I want good food. I'm tired of kind of like being in the soup line, and had that little fallout with the, you know, Matt at Publix. And I just decided I'm not going back to Publix because I want to go somewhere where people appreciate me. And even if they're not happy to see me coming, they will not be minorly harassing me about how many mayonnaise packets I take, how many mustard packets I take, that kind of thing. So I've been trying to stretch my wings, and I said, hey, we were vegetarian. We've been at the top of the line grocery stores. MacDill and Cypress, they changed their name to Rolling Oats. I forgot the name of the health food store when I used to shop there. Chuck's, up on 56 and Fowler, basically, has been there for a long time. I haven't been there in a while. Anthony's in Lakeland. I used to go to those They used to have these little raw food like gatherings. Everybody prepares a dish and brings it. And there used to be a little raw food restaurant on Florida right at Columbus. And as my life kept going down, 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 it separated me from healthy eating because in my mind I couldn't afford to eat good. And the Word of God says you have not because you ask not. So I had to be poor in spirit because like what I'm doing now is I stand outside and say, hi, would you bless my family and I tonight with, rotisserie chicken from Sprouts for $9.99, which comes up to be like $11, something like in there. And we're able to eat good food if we don't have, some other alternative. So we went inside of the Florida and I had a lesson with her, and I was like, how many rooms do you think it has? How many floors do you think it has? Because it's a towering building, maybe 14, 15 floors. I didn't ask the guy behind the counter. But we just visually looked at the different buildings there. So I said, how many people you think is here in just this one block? And we definitely thought at least 1,000. I said, so God is going to send somebody to help us. When you ask people for help, I want you to keep your head up because the Word of God says, ask for help, right? So you don't feel like you're, downtrodden or you're, unworthy. You hold your value and you ask them to invest in you. So if you keep yourself up, you can continue to help people. So we talked a little bit about business and how as a child now she has the opportunity to try different avenues to make money. She crochets, she can make purses, she can make clothes, she can make hats, she can make scarves. So now we're getting ready to exit winter. We ain't got 30 more days of winter here in Tampa, Florida. So I started to have her thinking about what we can do next. And we sell chocolate and we sell drinks, but I want her to use her craft to make things that we can sell. So that's what we were talking about. And so I said, today is Tuesday. I need to do something outrageous. I got this practice from either Herb Cohen in his book, You Can Negotiate Anything, or I got this from Anthony Robbins. Tuesday is like Mars's day, and that's, I'm pretty sure, aligns with Saint Michael. Because these energies have like 5 different names for 5 different religions, but it's the same energy. So that's like Ogun, Saint Michael, and what is he? Tahuti, I think. No, Michael is Haruk Hootie in the Kemetic. I can't remember. It's all Googleable though. So I said I really wanted to ask those businessmen if they would buy us something to eat for dinner, but I chickened out. So I was standing outside reciting my mantra: I am strong, I am mighty, I am woman, I am God, I am a billionaire, I attract. Okay, so I was building my confidence back up. I'm looking like a ragamuffin because I just jumped up. My head was, wrapped all strangely, and, I threw on my coat because we only have a couple hours to really get out and get something warm to eat. Sometimes we go to Sprouts, Whole Foods, and we buy marinara sauce and angel hair pasta. We use their microwave, we sit down, we enjoy ourselves. But it takes 2 buses, and it's already like 8 by the time the girls get back here. And I'm just so sure they're going to have food from the Indian people that I'm not worried. But when they didn't, I said, okay, no problem. Let's go on out into the world and make this thing happen. So instead of trying to get to Whole Foods, God sent me downtown, and we're just walking and talking and enjoying each other's company. And I said, I'm going to go back in here and ask them, regardless of what they say. I have to do this for myself. So I go back in and I say, hi, gentlemen. Would you all be willing to buy my daughter and I a couple of pizzas from across the street here at Domino's? One said no. I looked at the other. He said no. The third said no. The fourth said no. I said, okay, thank you. And maybe I said, have a nice evening. So I went back outside and I talked to her. I said, they all said no. I said, this is one of the things these business people, and for some reason to me, business and like the devil go together. And I know all business people don't act the same way. I said, this is how people with money keep money. They don't really share too much. And they might give to a charity or whatever, but if there is a person that they see lacking, I think they feel like you're already a lost cause, so them buying you one meal isn't going to help you. Maybe it would be better that you die anyway, since you can't hold your own in this society. That's the way I feel they feel, these particular men. So I said, woohoo! And I threw my hands up in the air as though I were, breaking the victory rope in a race, to let them know you haven't broken me by telling me no. But I was thankful that I could conjure up the strength to ask. So I said, okay, we stood there for a while. They sent security out the side to come around to us. But we were on the sidewalk, so that's public property. Then we saw the police pass. And I wanted to just, gauge what the temperament was going to be in this area. So we walk over to Domino's and I said, hi, is the manager here? Would you all be willing to give my daughter and I a free pizza? He said, no, we can't do that. I said, okay, well, how much is a pizza with sausage and olives? So sausage is Abby's favorite topping and olives are Angola's favorite topping. So I didn't want pizza. I was just going to eat cereal or make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. So he said no. I said, so what time do you close? He said 1 o'clock. You got plenty of time. I said, okay. So while I'm in there, a Spanish older guy walks in and gives a Spanish young man, I think $100, and he was just bragging about it. And he was moving slow, and it was just like, they weren't really at work. So I went outside and I kept asking, Lord, can I ask this person to help me? A black guy was there. He said, no, I'm a customer just like you. I said, okay. I didn't get the sense that I could really ask him. I never really think, when I'm in settings like downtown area, whatever, I never really feel like black men are going to help us. A lot of black men that have made it in the sense of they can spend $300 a night on a hotel room. They usually date outside of their race. They usually don't really affiliate with people in their race. That's been my experience in Tampa. Now, if I were in Atlanta, maybe that would be different. If I were in St. Louis, maybe that would be different. But that's the way I feel about black men here in Tampa that have made it in business, right? So there were two guys coming towards me. I said, hi, how are you? Would you be willing to come in this store and pay for a pizza for my daughter and I? And they looked and they were, talking with their eyes. And then they said, yeah, why not? So I said, thank you. I really appreciate the help. So we walked back in the Domino's and they are waiting for the guy, but the phone is ringing. He's got orders. And he's like, wait, wait, wait. I said, well, they're in a hurry. Could you at least let them pay and then go? He said, wait, wait, wait. So he goes over there, toss the pizza dough around, make a couple of pizzas, put them in there. And then he's moving kind of slow. I said, well, I'm feeling uncomfortable because in the past when I've asked people to help me, things like this cause them to walk away. I said, well, can you just go ahead online and pay for it? And then, we're not in a hurry. We'll be patient and wait for it. He's like, oh, no, no, we're not in a hurry. We're not in a hurry. And then 5 minutes pass and maybe another 5 minutes pass. And then they start ordering on their phone because they realize, okay, this operation is pretty slow. So I said, and if you know a special that will allow us to get that second pizza I overheard you talking about, we can do that. It can be cheese pizza. We don't have to have any toppings. So he comes up with two. He said, do you want a large or two mediums? I said, two mediums. So the two mediums turned out to be $15.03. So we got one with the one topping of olives and one with the topping of, excuse me, sausage. So I figured the girls can each have their own pizza. That'll be a nice treat. That's what my granddaddy Lindsay Atkins used to do for us. He used to take us to the grocery store. You get your own box of cereal, you get your own pack of cookies, and you can eat it at your own pace. That was one of the treats we got when we went to Granddaddy Lindsay and Grandma Melva house. And Grandma Melva would be like, Lynn, why are you doing that? You ain't got to get them no whole box of pizza, whole box of cereal each, and whole bag of cookies. I used to love Nutter Butters back then, so that would be the pack of cookies I'm going to get is Nutter Butter. I can't remember the cereal I got, probably Fruit Loops or Apple Jacks. And so I wanted to treat them by giving them a whole pizza to themselves. So they finally made it and gave it to us. And I said, do you have any little small packs of Parmesan? They said no. And I'm getting ready to walk out, and I'm like, ma'am, do you have a Parmesan shaker over there? Come put some Parmesan cheese on these pizzas. Now, in the interim, and this is where I should have just not even said anything to this guy, but a guy walked in and he said something about the boss or the supervisor, and he started to make his order extra well done and giving the specs on the pizza. And the black guy said, okay, well, when I get it done, I'll bring it out there to you. He was turning to exit. He had on a suit. It was kind of tight, but this kind of metro, I don't know if it's offensive to say metrosexual, but the metrosexual type dress where it's really tight and there's really no room. Kind of like how Wayne Brady dresses with those little kind of high water pants and they're really tight. Nice looking suit though. It was, I think, plaid. So as he was exiting, I didn't even ask God, was it okay to ask him? So I was wrong in many senses. And I was trying to get food for the next day so I wouldn't have to come out because I've been in meditation and contemplation. So instead of following God's thing where he says, only take what you need for today and let tomorrow worry about itself, I tried to get extra. So I said, excuse me, somebody already bought us pizza for tonight's dinner. Would you be willing to give me like $20 for tomorrow's dinner? And he said, if I were you, I'd go to the shelter and get food. And I'm like, And he keeps saying shelter, shelter. I said, you know what? Thank you, never mind. So I'm getting ready to turn around and sit down, but he seems agitated, like he really wants to get across to me that, if it were me and I wanted food, I would go to the shelter. And I'm like, I'm frustrated because I have money that hasn't come to me that I should have, and I should be able to go and buy anything I want to eat and be eating good foods. We want to go and buy fresh vegetables every day and cook fresh food every day. No leftovers. We want to cook the food, eat it, and then tomorrow, Lord, what are we eating? And because of identity theft and an illegal eviction by A Plus Properties, Eric Allen, the owner, and Evelyn Rosado, the manager, and my brother was in on it too, and some other people. But that's beside the point. So June 2nd, 2022, they put me, my 4 children, and my nephew Alex out onto the streets, okay? So we're still recovering. Kelly Thomas of the Tampa Police Department took my ID, my driver's license, and took my tag off my car. I was on my way to work at Amalie Oil, leaving Metropolitan Ministries, trying to talk to Natalia to get help with my bills. So I went to work anyway because I had to keep paying the lights and the water and the cable. Anthony was supposed to have the little mortgage payment covered. He took $20,000 of the $30,000 that we borrowed from Jervik's Holding, right? And so the payment should have been like $352, but I don't know what happened with that. It was probably a lot more. He probably doubled back and got several loans against the house. You see what I'm saying? Once you sign, then you kind of leave an open door. And it was 4 people because the house was owned by 4 people. My mom left it 25% to each one of her children. So Anthony had 25%, Alva had 25%, Aileen had 25%, that's me, Ava had 25%. So we all had to sign. Okay, so back to the story. So I'm watching him, and he's walking over to a G-Wagon, a nice G-Wagon, every bit of $150,000 car. It's like a matte black. It's nice. It's the tall maxi one. I said, wow, you have all of this, and that's your opinion? That's your feeling? And he seemed annoyed. He spit on the ground. So I spit on the ground. I said, I know. I was thinking the same thing, and I spat on the ground because that's what I've learned through witchcraft. When people spit, you spit. When people yawn, you yawn. These are symbols and messages that they're sending to the spiritual realm. Sometimes they're creating portals with blood and spit. So it depends on the situation. So I said, okay, well, if you could give me one piece of information to get my life up off the ground, what would it be? And he said, create value for, as many people as possible. So I'm throwing that around in my head, trying to make sense of it. I'm like, okay, well, what would Herb Cohen do? What would Herb Cohen think? I'm trying to think like a businessman because I'm ministry minded. I'm always trying to help people. Not lately, but that has been my life kind of like mission to help people get themselves up off the ground. So I want to have a business. So now I need to be around people who do business so I can gain this business mindset. So I'm like, what does that mean? He said, add value to people, be able to help them with something. I said, oh, so if I would have come and said, hey, can I clean your windows or clean your rims? He said, yes, exactly. I would have felt obligated to help you because it's like this lady, wants to help me. She wants to already owe her something. I said, okay, well, thank you. And that pretty much ended the conversation. I said, let me ask you one more thing. He's like, no, that's pretty much it. I said, do you know a tax attorney? He said, no, I know a CPA in Miami, and I don't want nothing to do with Miami. I feel like there's too many crooks there. Con artists, they go behind you and steal your shit, set you up, that kind of thing. And we have plenty of that here in Tampa, Florida. So I was like, okay, well, thank you. May your blessings return 100-fold or something like that. I said, thank you. And I broke conversation, went back in, sat down, waited for the pizza. So after we left that, we got the pizzas. They put the Parmesan on there. We went and walked back downtown to wait on the bus. I said, I'm going to walk down to Sprouts because I was having like a little caffeine fit. I said, I'm going to walk to Sprouts and see if I can use these $3 to get a soda because in Sprouts, $3 will get you a couple of lollipops. Well, they do have specials, so I don't want to make it sound like it's just so outrageous, but you get what you pay for, and we want to pay for quality food. When we get our money, we will pay for quality food. And even with our food stamps, we have to like ration it out, $10 a day, but I work really hard to get us quality stuff. And they have little markdowns and stuff, which is really nice. So I got there and it was closed. So I said it wasn't 9:30, it was 10:30. So I'm standing out here in the dark on 7th Avenue and Florida, which is right by Amateur Works. And I see these cars that used to follow me. They used to ride around in 3. A red, what is that, a red truck, a red little Dodger type thing, and a gray Charger. I said, oh God, these people are following me again. When they follow me, I get this spooky, I used to get this spooky, like scary feeling, right? So I'm like, oh my God, do I have my phone in the pocket? And a phone in the pocket that I can record this and then send it to the FBI. So every time the cars come by, they're waiting at the light. I stand behind the pole. There was a wooden pole and then there's a like metal pole. So I'm coming away from the street because, they're stopped. And I'm standing behind the pole to give myself a little boundary, right? So I wanted to say to the FBI between 10:30 and 11, the bus picked me up at 11:04 when I got on the bus. So the bus was late because it usually leaves the Marion Transit Center at 11 o'clock. This is bus 6. It pulled over and picked me up at 11:04. And it takes about 5 minutes from there to get to the Marion Transport Center. Abby was waiting on me, so I said, Abby, come on. She left the bag that had our containers that we cook in, the little Tupperware type things, actually Rubbermaid. And I had some angel hair pasta in there with some coconut oil and some garlic salt because we might have ended up at Whole Foods to use the microwave to make the noodles. So she was rushing. We left that. That's okay. We'll buy some more. And got on the bus and made it back. So I was definitely being followed by somebody. And I want to report these fraud workers, these gang stalkers. They come in the store with you. They try to time it where they're at the register in another line, paying at the same time you're paying. And they have this technology where they can tap into your card and make you pay for their grocery. This happened to us not March 12th. That had to be April, when we went to make the April payment in Metro PCS on Fowler and 15th by the Mr. and Mrs. Crab in the same plaza as the Patel grocery store. And we saw Zay, Josie's friend, and we saw, well, he was with the guy that was wearing my USF hoodie that they stole. When we got put out of the house, we ended up in several different places at Mr. Ray's yard. My car was there. They were stealing out of my car. And some of my stuff was I put in Dr. Twiggs's backyard of his old building at 3304 East Hillsboro, and I put up my privacy fences. And for a long time, they didn't bother it. But after I upset Ken, who does the car wash there, they just started going through my shit, just plundering it. Then I moved it to the front. Then somebody in a RV would park next to the fence, like in the parking lot of the KFC, and they were going over the fence and taking my bags, taking my stuff. Then we moved it right next to the building and put the fence up, and they were taking out of there. So my stuff is all over the place. They have more of my stuff than I do. So I don't know how this young man ended up with my hoodie, but that was my hoodie. Energetically speaking, I knew that was my hoodie. And I couldn't tell what was going on, whether it was coming from Letitia, Karima Penn, or Josie Thomas, who... Okay, so I gotta wrap this up. Do I need to say? Okay, so Josie and I dated years ago. He put me on to selling oils and incense. And then after I started selling oils and incense, my sister, my oldest sister, started selling oils and incense. It's like whatever I do, she comes behind me and she does it. So this might have been the plan the whole while, for her to pretend to be me. I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know about the money either. So, excuse me, I'm expelling gas. So I'm just telling you that there are people who have technology. They can clone your phone. They can just call the post office and move your mail from your house to their house, and then come back to your house when it's nighttime, or and slide some mail in your box. So you are getting mail, but you can tell you're not getting all your mail. And what set me off was they stopped letting me get my alumni newsletters, from the University of South Florida. You get alumni newsletters, and then they would send me this research magazine. And I used to look through there and read what was going on, because God told me that there is going to be technology that will allow me to get a third set of teeth put into my actual gum where I don't have to pay for implants and get titanium put in my mouth and that kind of crap. So I'm waiting for that. So I haven't gotten the pits removed from the roots removed from my mouth so that that can happen. And in the USF magazines, they do a great job of, it's a research university, so they are always doing cutting edge type things. Wake Forest is always doing cutting edge type things, so I try to stay abreast of the research that's taking place, because when it comes time, I am going to want my third set of teeth without having to put metal in my mouth, right? Because I believe when you put foreign objects in your body is always fighting against it. And eventually, if you don't really take care of yourself, you'll end up with an autoimmune disease because your body has been fighting against whatever foreign object you have in there. Whether that's fake breasts, fake, with the silicone, you cut yourself open and get silicone bags put in there, you're going to be sick. You're going to be sick. Your body is going to be constantly fighting against that foreign object. And there's other things that happens with too. That's just an example. So I want the FBI, the CIA, the ICE Department, Homeland Security, NSA to check that out. And I've been keeping a log when I feel that burning feeling in my thighs from the energy weapon that they're using against me. I have been keeping a log of the times that I feel it so that you can look in the cameras and see who is around in the area to find out who's using this energy weapon. And I want you to give these people at least 10 years, because my children and I, we have to figure out how to protect our money when we get it and protect our life, because they already was trying to kill us, poison us, and kill us with black magic. So if you don't put them in jail for at least 10 years, they may still come after us. So I'm trying to get as much evidence so that you can put them away for at least a decade. And by that time, I'll have all the information I need to protect myself. All right. Thank you. Do I need to say any other closing comments, creator? No. All right, so I'm going to get back to listening to this, and I just got finished. I'm going to show you what I listened to before. Let me see if it'll go back to... Okay, so I'm going to have to go to the library to show you what I really want to show you. That says, I'm ready. Nah, I didn't listen to that. I don't know why that's there. I'm not really listening too much relating to relationships, so let's see. Corrupt, greedy officials. That was one of the ones that made a difference. Okay, so this was Mermaid of Mesopotamia. Corrupt, greedy officials used RICO to push you out of this state because the state owes you big money. Now, I'm here in Tampa, Florida. Maybe that's why they did the eviction, to make it seem like I have moved. I have about 8 doppelgangers. And who did I need to add to the list of doppelgangers? I added Uncle Pumpkin. That's his nickname. His real name is Gideon Henley, and his wife Catherine Henley. They are in Spalding County. What is this? Spalding County, Griffin, Georgia. And maybe my cousin Marvis Fambro is a doppelganger. I added Erlene, but there was somebody else that I wanted to add. Carolyn, Mr. John's niece that lives in Kansas City. I don't know why I felt that way, but this young lady is. And I'm assuming that she would be okay with me sharing. And I know Intuitive 333 would be okay with me sharing. I'm going to include them in the topics trending in tarot. But
go against picking up on. So this can be a situation where This is somebody here where you possibly have been friends for years, or you are family, and there's a very strong bond here or something like that. And I'm picking on somebody here
Used to
to
be.
feel betrayed. Now we have the Knight of Swords. Knight of Wands in reverse. So could be a fire sign here.
So, fire sign, Aries, my brother, Donnie.
From the state due to this harassment, due to everything that happened in this state, because something here was owed to you in this state you are natively from. I know natively isn't a word. I'm just kind of,
But they're picking up energetically that I am not in Tampa, Florida, or I moved from Tampa, Florida.
You out of this state.
And I'm here.
Okay, this could be involving some kind of like finance of the state, some kind of like a type of a reparation. Or I'm really picking up on some money here.
I was illegally arrested for peacefully protesting during the Gore and Bush election. My firstborn child and I were outside of the supervisor of elections office, which was Pam Iorio at the time. And Officer Gruau came and arrested me and, put my signs in their little... They took the signs. He said, oh, we're cleaning up signs. But we were on the sidewalk. I had already talked to the police. It was a peaceful protest. It just said honk for revote, right? And he took me and arrested me. And I said, well, wait a minute. What are you arresting me for? I didn't do anything. And they lied and said that I tried to yank the sign out of his hand. And that's why they were arresting me. And it messed up my career as a substitute teacher. People looked at me very different after that occurred. And it affected my activism too. I started to hesitate and I felt less safe. There's been a lot of abuse of me.
This could also be like your ex and they new partner. It could be anybody take it as
what else do I need to say? When I was coming from St. Petersburg, from the NPDOM meetings, they would harass me. They would pull me over and say, oh, you're speeding. I was like, no, I wasn't. You're lying, but okay. They would be outside of the meeting writing down license plate numbers. And this is in America. This is in St. Petersburg. Now, O'Malia Shatella, Chimaranga, Ironif, Gaida, the organization left St. Petersburg and they moved to, where did they move to? Missouri? I can't remember where they moved to. But back in the day, rappers had a studio and the police mysteriously, or maybe it's the sheriff, I think it's the sheriff over there in St. Pete, they burned down their whole studio and didn't compensate them for it either. We sued the University of South Florida. There's money for that. I didn't get my workers' comp. So I've had like a lot of just lingering money left. So they did an asset search and decided they were going to steal my money, call me crazy, and be over my money, and then I guess kill me. And I don't know in what order they planned to do this, but when they lied on me and said I was crazy and kidnapped my children that were born May 26, 2004 at Morton Plant Meese Hospital, they put me in a wheelchair, wheeled me down to the psych ward, and stole my placentas out of my hospital room. So that was another settlement. So they have been blocking me by moving me from the house. I didn't get my mail. So they've been stealing my mail. I'm talking about Anthony Atkins, Alva Atkins, Ava Atkins. And they have been pretending to be me and sending in other doppelgangers to pretend to be me. So I started going in and complaining to my chief judge, Ronald Figueroa. I think he created an alias. He's now calling himself Christopher Sabella because they maybe have paid him to allow the courts to steal from me.
on an energy
So
here. There is
I
zero
reported all of this
love. This could
to
be family. Okay, this could be a brother and a sister
the
here,
Chief
but there could be
Judge, Ronald
something here
Figueroa, by
that
way
there's like
of
some kind of
bailiff
competition with this
Thomas
empress,
O'Manzi.
and
I
they are trying
reported
to
it
get
to
something
Rick
here,
Melendi, the court
taking a
administrator,
big time
on the
a
6th
whole
floor at the
both sides of the
courthouse,
family,
13th
especially like
Judicial
a whole
Circuit,
one side of the family
which
all
is
working
at
together
800
to
East
fuck with
Twiggs
this empress.
Avenue.
Okay, let's
But
see
we
here.
got
What's
a
the most
lady
consistent
outside of
outcome
our
cards?
courthouse. She's blindfolded like she's Lady
What's the
Justice,
outcome
but
here?
she has one hand down.